dragon claw, wing and scale. Come now, let's examine a tale of the greatest beast ever considered. Another episode of Big Flying Lizards.
Welcome to Big Flying Lizards, a dragon movie and television podcast. I am your host, Bryce Wilson, joined once again by the one, the only, Austin Snyder. Austin, how we doing?
Well, I just got one thing I want to say right up top, and that is, what an episode. What an
What
episode.
an episode.
I just wanted to get ahead on that one time in our coverage of season 3.
Hey, you weren't going to wait for Sunday? You were going to try not to?
No. See, I'll let you have it, that one. But that's assuming that tomorrow's episode is going to be a what an episode worthy episode.
I mean, based off of what we saw in this episode again, I think we've got a what an episode coming up. But I do just want to take a quick moment to apologize to everybody. We're coming to you extra late just because we are coming. I am coming from you live from Sunnyside, California. I am now officially in the back in the Pacific Northwest. The move was smooth. We're here. I've already.
The dragon has landed?
The dragon has landed.
And
the
nest nested.
Yes. Nested and made.
The chicks are tucked in and cozy.
The dogs are. I don't know about the chicks.
That's what I mean. The Ramsey and the VV.
The
hatchlings, I guess, would be the small dragons.
The hatchlings they're not happy. They don't like having not as much room, and they've already taken a shit in my room. So, that's great. But
they're just asserting dominance.
Exactly.
It's just a classic dragon move.
Who doesn't go into who doesn't go into places and just assert dominance by
it's either that or tear out your neck just like a little bit. So,
yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of tearing out your neck, Austin, you set it up top. What an episode. I genuinely, since it did take so long for us to get to it, I did watch it twice. And the episode was just as good, in my opinion, on this second watch as it was on the first watch. Even though there was a lot of, depending on surprising elements, I still think that it holds up on a second watch.
I agree. And I don't think that we finished the full clarification there that because of the move, we did delay this record until the Saturday before the season finale. So because of that, I mean, most of our episodes in our coverage this season have been immediately after the episode drops, we watch it, we record our coverage. So this is a bit of a different it's a change of pace for us, but I actually appreciated it because I could also watched the episode twice, and I think I shored up some opinions. Most of what I felt in the first watch, I feel more sure about for the rewatch. But I still feel overall a good episode. And I'm excited to talk about it. And there are a couple things that sort of revealed themselves to me on rewatch. I wouldn't say that it was oh man, now I totally get it on a new level. It's a good episode. Is that about where you're at with it?
I'd say so. I think I'm a little bit more warm on it just because the only thing that I would even mark down on this is I don't quite know what Aegon's actor is doing up until the big reveal. It's a little hard to tell what direction he's sort of going for. He's really hard to read, in my opinion.
Where he's just trying to take his last stand there. It is. I mean, it's almost a literal 180 for his character.
Well, it's not even. If it's all right, I'd love to save it because I do have thoughts there.
Right, and that's getting into actual specific discussion. But the episode at large, I'm okay, I think this was a nice lead up to hopefully the biggest episode of the season. They are definitely teasing toward this season finale being like the big one. Not only is it going to be the longest episode in House of the Dragon so far, 75 minutes, the whole season has been building to Tumbleton. I think Tumbleton's like a buzzword at this point. It's like the
Yes.
White Walkers of this season. Like, oh, geez, everything's going to go down at Tumbleton.
No, absolutely.
And I get that part of that is just like people I talk to about the show who know where it's going, sort of don't want to give away anything that I might not be aware of. But like the scene with Gawain when he first comes in, he's literally like, "Oh, the army is like a day and a half march away," you know,
Yeah,
and
they've got their backs up against the wall. They have the smallest dragon in circulation right now on their side against arguably the largest dragon armada ever put together.
the emotional like mania of Rhaenyra's like story in this season is at its highest. So
Yes.
it kind of makes sense for some crazy shit to go down, and just the stage is set for conflict. So yeah, we talked a little bit after our first watch, like not a ton. We wanted to save it for on mic. But you were like, I think next episode's going to be even bigger, and now after the rewatch, I definitely like I agree more strongly with you.
Well, and I think that's I mean, I'm glad that you I mean, I shouldn't say I'm glad. I'm glad that we're both on the same page on there and just sort of recognize that because it literally has been just war drums beating for this final like literally even in this episode the only sight that we get of the winter wolves is the army of the riverlands and the army of the north marching towards Tumbleton and
And
it
yeah, like I feel like it would be it's like a fool me once, you know, shame on
shame on you.
you. And
We can't be
well,
fooled
the
again.
point is we can't get fooled again. And but like the way they ended season 2 with literally the marching montage, like if they were to hit us with that again, I would feel really disrespected. But I
Oh, for
don't
sure.
think that's where we're headed.
No,
Even with like Game of Thrones history of like, no, it's usually episode 9's the big one. I don't think that's where we're headed in this episode.
no, I
That
really don't
season.
think so as well, and especially with what we heard in this final episode in this final moments, I think I can see where it's sort of going. Obviously, I've been spoiled a little bit, but I also know that this show has taken liberties to
Clinton
like
liberties,
change
for
yeah,
one.
to change some things up and make it so it is a little bit more narratively I don't wanna say narratively friendly, but just more fun. So I'm
Yes,
really c
yes, and I mean there are a couple turns in this episode in particular that I'm really enjoying the sort of tone it's setting for the show moving forward. But
and so
sorry, I kind of cut you off there.
no, 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 I think that really just builds up what I was saying, like, one thing that I actually do want to address and acknowledge that some people might be upset about. Like, there's a lot of people that are complaining that this isn't true to the source material. And to that point, I will say, like, I get it. I mean, you guys can all go back to our Aragon episode. You can see how I felt about that. But I also just want to relay from what I understand about this story in particular. We're not getting POV from any of these characters. It's all secondhand. It's all from unreliable narrators. We're hearing it from maesters. We're hearing it from court fools. We're hearing it from documenters that may or may not have been hearing this either firsthand, secondhand, third hand. So there's a lot of it I think that they have a lot of fun opportunities to be able to say like history was written by the victors sort of situation, or they might be just telling something that may not be 100% true. For example, and this is diving into the episode a little bit, but I think that this is a great point to talk it up. When Daemon is talking to Lady Jane Eyre, she was mentioning like oh, Rhaena, they talk of a dragon girl who survives off of berries and nettles up in the mountains. And that's an obvious nod and a wink to Nettles, who's in the book. For those who are non-readers like I am and haven't been spoiled, Nettles was supposed to be Sheepstealer's actual rider. Bela apparently Bela apparently had her own dragon that hatched, but she was way too small to actually do anything or
You mean
be
Rhea?
effective.
I think you're talking about Rhea,
Yes,
who
sorry,
is
sorry.
Sheepstealer's. Yeah,
Yeah, Rhea had a dragon that was
just a runt.
yeah, and really couldn't do anything during the dance. So I like to interpret that as like history being rewritten because nobody really knows what happens to Nettles after the Dance of the Dragon. She just sort of goes off, and there's a relationship that's actually very obviously had between Rhaena and I'm not Rhaena, between Daemon and Nettles, and to me, that sort of makes this that much more enticing that everyone knows that there was a relationship between the writer of Sheepstealer and Damon, but they tried to make it salacious. But in reality, it's actually I don't know. That's just sort of a spin. Again, I haven't read
Well,
it.
it's also like just as far as producing a TV show, it's just like simplifying things and keeping it
Yeah.
with the characters that we have a history with and are emotionally invested in at this point. Like
Yes.
the the boat is full, you know, at this point. Like I kind of feel comfortable with like the current stable of characters with House of the Dragon, and I sort of feel like if you're going to add somebody, you can only do that after like somebody dies or like officially leaves the show at this point.
Well, and also not calling out a past guest of the show, but also somebody who's well known to the show, your brother Hayden. We were talking about this show and really encouraging him to watch, and he just sort of, I don't want to say let slip, but that's sort of the best way to put it, that just the amount of characters there are to get to know is a little bit overwhelming in this show, which the more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm like sympathetic to that view because there is a ton of characters in this show to like keep straight and keep just going over. Even in episode 1, like we have to know Damon, we have to know Kristen Cole, we have to know Viserys, we have to know
Yeah, but that's
Rhaenyra.
the fun of it,
It
Bryce.
is. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but
But
if you
it
were to
is a big buy-in, no doubt.
exactly. If you are not familiar with the Game of Thrones world, I mean, it'd be like going into Succession and saying, "Hey, here's everybody in season 4 that you're going to know are players, and you're meeting them in episode 1." So
Mm-hmm. Just because the
it's
ensemble's so big, and it only really has grown up to this
ex-
point.
my point is like with a Game of Thrones, they kept it simple, like as simple as you can get. They had the Stark family, but in reality, they sort of just had Sean Bean leading the Starks. They had the Lannisters, and they had Peter Dinklage leading the Lannisters. And I mean,
Yeah, and then it's like they kind of tried for something like that with House of the Dragon season 2 with like the Team Black, Team Green thing, you know, and it sort of like tiered up the most important characters and in at that point in the show, I guess that was the most sort of Marvel Civil War, um,
well, they
Captain
were
America Civil War kind of moment, like opportunity for that. But now it's like like we've tried to sort of maintain the like Team Black, Team Green thing, and it's just like not even there anymore, just because every characters has like so much going on individually and their
yeah.
relationships to all the characters on their own quote unquote team and the other quote unquote team. It's it's kind of a beautiful mess that they've woven up to this point.
Did you notice that they didn't do any of that Team Green, Team Black marketing this time around?
That's what I'm talking about. I think they anticipated that like as the season unfolded that even like the quote unquote team black people aren't necessarily totally feeling great about the way like Rhaenyra is running things, and all
Yeah.
of the quote unquote team green people are really just like after their own self-interests, which is most characters in this world, but like
Well,
more
what is
overtly.
Team Green right now? What is
Right, like Team Green is like Vagar, you know?
like, I mean, that might be actually. Well, let me finish this thought and then let's dive into the
There's a
actual.
lot to talk about in this episode too. So
Yeah.
okay, you do your thought, and then I'm going to hold us to it that we need to dive in.
Yes. Legitimately, Team Green is in 3 factions right now. It may not be officially 3 factions, but it really is 3 factions. We have Aegon, who is just gallivanting across exile.
Yeah, the
And
three amigos.
the 3 amigos. And the reason why I still consider him as a faction is he has all the money of King's Landing. Tyland Lannister is the key to all the money.
The money man.
The
Indeed.
money man. And as we've seen in this episode in particular, and the past couple episodes, who controls the purse controls King's Landing. Like
There it is. Follow the
we
money.
we have Aemond, who's just live, laugh, loving with his new girl in Harrenhal, while Vagar runs amok across the Riverlands. And then we have Daron, who's just at the whims of a madman. And that's really Team Green in a nutshell.
Right. So you could say that you have like Team Ormond, Team Vagar, and Team Aegon. Team OG King. That those are like the mini factions inside of Green, and like nobody really seems to be like steering the ship in a meaningful way. Like obviously Ormond's making moves, but he is, he he's got some problems at his doorstep. He's got some immediate threats to take care of.
Not only does he have some immediate threats, but he also is arguably, I mean, obviously we see some really fucked up behavior from Aemond in this episode, but I'm getting the sense that Ormond's a little bit more messed up in the head than Aemond.
Dude, he's vegan.
He's considering vegan.
Okay, no. That's a joke, by the way. Yeah, I admire veganism.
I don't.
Well, no, we got to get into it now, though. It has to happen. This is because there are so many things that I want to get to in our discussion here, and we only have, I don't know, like 4 hours.
Yeah, we only have 6 hours to go. All right. Chapter 1, Deceptions and Betrayals. In the Red Keep, Rhaenyra aggressively interrogates Helaena about her prophetic dreams while Sybil warns Mysaria of her fragile standing with the nobility. In Harrenhal, Aemon is working with his sword in a vision when Alicent comes in, who he begins intimate relations with. This actually ends up being Alice Rivers in disguise before discovering that Alicent actually did arrive with her Queen's Guard's escort, Sir Adrian Redford, who Aemond immediately kills out of suspicion. Deep in the Vale, Daemon confronts Lady Jane Eyre about the dragon sighting, while in King's Landing, Adam and Baela inform Queen Rhaenyra that they spotted Rhaena riding the wild dragon Sheepstealer. Over Tumbleton, the Tully army marches towards the city with Sir Criston Cole's severed head on a pike, prompting Daron and Gwaine to consider surrendering, unaware that Lord Ormond has secretly captured Corlys Velaryon to hold off the Velaryon fleet. Near Maidenpool, Larys Strong abandons Aegon and Thailand as the enemy soldiers close in. I really am. I think we saw Damon Defense on. We saw
It's on by default, actually. So you just turned it off. So you have to
back up.
Now, okay, now it's on.
I oddly enough saw a lot of Damon's character being built up in this episode, and a lot of Rhaenyra's character coming down in this episode.
For sure. They're definitely showing a different side of Daemon. I think that he's truly torn between two irreconcilable ambitions with
Mm-hmm.
the situation that he's been in with Rhaenyra and Rhaena. And you sort of see him you see cracks here at the beginning, even just like in his scene at the Eyrie where he has to put his pride aside a little bit and use the P word. Please. That I mean that's gotta like I wish that I could like scrub through and verify that's gotta be the first time the Damon's used the word please in the show, right?
It has to be. It might be the first time he's ever said please in his life.
Right, it felt very unfamiliar on his lips, but like that's where you start in the episode, and then like there's you get to the middle where he meets with Rhaena, and he's like, oh man, I fucked up, like I don't know what to do here, like how do we fix this? And
Yeah.
then things go from bad to worse, and then there's at the end of the episode where he's like his conversation with Rhaenyra, but I'm getting ahead of us now.
No, I do think that that's worth bringing up because on the flip side, the episode literally opens up with Helena having a prophetic vision, and Helena's arguably the most innocent character in this show. Like she's
Her stats are weird. You know,
yeah,
she's like got this like supreme awareness in some regards, but then she's also very sheltered and naive in others.
borderline on this. I mean, I wouldn't say borderline. She is on the spectrum. I just don't know how
Well, as
far
we
she is.
all are. But they, yeah,
She's a little bit further
she's
than
an odd
most.
one for sure. Um, yeah, there's some kind of like magic door that opens in the first vision, but we don't see what it is.
Mhm.
So,
I also think just how Rhaenyra is treating her in this particular scene was just really disheartening to see.
this first scene is great
Oh, it's
between the two
fantastic.
of them, and it's interesting to see Rhaenyra sort of feigning at um affection and like trying to like show some warmth to get what she wants from Helena, and just how quickly she gives up any pretense of that. I think that shows how much she's slipping. Um and then there's like just they're like coming out and saying it, how dragons are like a supreme power in this world that corrupts absolutely,
Oh
and
yeah.
Rhaenyra tries to downplay that while Helena's like, are you not noticing this? You've got
Well,
like 6 of these babies.
and Helena's making it sound like from what Viserys said that it's almost magical. It's almost got a magical element on how they change you. Maybe it is more mental, but the way she was presenting it, she made it sound like it was more of like a magical thing that changes your mindset once you have a dragon.
Yeah,
But
and there's sort of a suggestion to, because you know, in like whatever the Westeros equivalent to the Force is, like being like magic sensitive, like Helena is obviously like in that realm, you know. Um,
yes.
and so she kind of has a I think awareness of like that magical element that you're referring to. That like it's sort of an intangible thing, but there's an if there's an evil within it, she's like able to detect it more than
Yeah.
others, because that's she's also talking about how she used to want to be like a great dragon rider, but now when she thinks about it, it's like too intense, it's overwhelming to, because maybe she has a more um realistic appreciation of what that entails, like she's had visions of herself if she were to like seize that power. So yeah, and then we have Rhaenyra on the other side of that conversation that's like, all I wanted to do is to put an end to our contests and restore us to our proper order, which is a rather tyrannical statement. You know, that's all I wanted to do is put things right. And by right, I mean exactly how I think they should be,
Exactly.
which is a matter that is highly contested.
There is literally still a war going over on who should properly still be the king or the ruler.
Indeed. And I mean, just to kind of round out our conversation on like team black, team green, take notice, I'm wearing a black shirt, you're wearing a green and black shirt. I've got the green background. Like it's just all mixed up now. It's upsy down, topsy turvy.
It really is. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, there is something that I never mind. I'll save it. It's a chapter 3 sort of situation, but there's something that happens in chapter 3 that just it really gets in my core a little bit.
Okay.
Somewhat earned points, you might say. Um I really like how smug Ormond is in this episode. Like, obviously, he has an ace up his sleeve that might even be more than just an ace. But the fact that he's not communicating with Gwaine or communicating with uh Daron, to me just adds that much more sweetness to the plot because it does just seem like he's absolutely insane. Everybody is like, dude, there is an army on our doorsteps. There are 2 dragons literally staring down at us this entire time. What the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you like? Why are you acting this way?
Indeed. Yeah, it's fun to consider this story from Gawaine's perspective.
Yeah.
Because he's just in like Dante's Inferno here, just the 7 levels of hell, where now he gets here and he's like, we are going to die. They have dragons. Like, what are you talking about, my guy? But
Well,
then like we get the information at the end of this episode that, you know, we got a fight on our hands.
well, we also have to remember that Rook's Rest is probably still very fresh on Gwaine's mind. He literally saw like an overbearing host go and invade a castle with 2 dragons, with only 1 dragon defending it, and he saw how it ended up. And so he's probably so
I mean,
PTSD.
let's can we do that math real quick? Like
Yeah.
how long has it actually been since then?
That's a great question.
Because that was a big part of this campaign of Kristen Cole's, was it not?
I mean, Kristen Cole was sort of just battling his way to Rook's Rest, and he took several castles that were Rhaenyra's. Like, that was like what episode 3 was about. When he left, he was just this heartless, merciless man taking over all of these Team Black supporters' castles.
Okay, but how long has it been since Rook's Rest?
It's so hard to tell, but I would guess that it's not been longer than 6 months.
Right. So yeah. I mean, he's got to still be processing that insanely violent, basically equivalent to the use of nuclear force in their world.
But now he's on the receiving end because in his mind, an overwhelming force is about to attack Tumbleton with 2 dragons. And Daron's dragon is, it's battle ready, but it's not even half the size of Silverwing. And Silverwing is smaller than Vermithor. So like,
right. But also we're like, who knows? Maybe Ormond is like overtly pulling the strings with Hugh's wife. I wouldn't put him past making a move there.
I mean, that is jumping ahead a little bit, but I do think it's worth bringing up. I genuinely don't know. Like, I don't see what it would take. Like, unless Ormond straight up just captures his wife, I don't see how he pulls the strings of Hugh.
Well, I mean, all will be revealed soon enough on this.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The oh, okay. Yeah, there was a scene where Ormond talks about how he wants to be like the people of Laufey and go vegan.
Well,
Uh,
and just talking on that a little bit, it's funny because in Ormond's mind, he's like, "Oh, I've got this in the bag, guys. We're going to. It's a cakewalk." But literally, Daron and Quaid are like, "We are all going to burn. We are all going to die." And you're talking about switching to veganism over here.
well, yeah, it's like they're with Corliss on it. They're just, you know, like I
Yeah,
imagine they probably had some kind of knowing glances between shots. Uh,
I still don't know how I feel about that because to me it feels like there's a lot of hoops that they would have had to jump through to capture Corliss.
well, we are where we are. He's
Yeah.
a he's not as spry as he once was. The sea snake.
Yeah, but
Um,
he's gonna host.
indeed. Um, ha, what else in this chapter?
Um, I mean, the news that got I really am curious to see what is going to be happening between like there's obviously a love triangle. It's a very poorly done love triangle, in my opinion, but there still is this love triangle between Alan, Bela, and Adam.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was enjoying part of that in the previous episode. I'll admit it, but as far as like character dynamics that I'm interested in the show, that's nah, really nothing to report on there.
It's especially frustrating because I dare to say that Adam is portraying himself to be the most loyal to Rhaenyra. Like, I don't think Rhaenyra has a more loyal foot soldier and a more loyal like I dare to say that Adam is more loyal than Daemon.
Okay, well, yes, but this also makes him, forgive me for saying it, because I do think that Mr. Liberty Bibberty is doing a good job with the character, but uh for his like, I'm just gonna follow what Riri Rhaenyra says. Like, it's a boring character. Like he's not a player. He's not making moves. And there's a reason that the original series was called Game of Thrones. Like, it's fun to watch all of the players who are actually influencing things, and that's just not really his character. But since I've been hating on it here, I should say a good thing too, and that's that he was looking really good in this episode. Because we've seen like the core of the fit that he was wearing, but there's like that like red fade to black cloak that he
Mhm.
had on, and or at least that you could see better in this episode, and that is a damn good look.
There are a lot of good fits in this episode, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
really excited for us to do our fit picks at the end. I don't think that his fit is winning it this week for me, but I do think that Mr. Liberty Bibberty does a fantastic job in this episode with his
Rocking
fits.
it. Yes. The fit was excellent.
Yeah. Is there anything else in this chapter that we want to necessarily I mean, we haven't really discussed Hell and just the madness that's there.
Oh yes, with the sort of fake out moment
Mhm.
with Alicent comes in, and they're they've been really trying, baby, and it gets explicit, but then
Mhm.
it was all a dream. um
Just a
on
train.
rewatch, I did feel a little bit more cheated by that, the psych out of it. um but on the first, like, my initial reaction, that was really intense because it was just barely like believable that this is how Allison would come in with it.
Yeah.
Um, but I do
Well,
feel like it should be said that definitely, unless if Aemond hadn't fallen for the no, if he hadn't had the vision, he basically wouldn't have been suspicious at all, it seems, of his mother coming to Harrenhal. So this begs the question of, did that vision come by Alice's doing, or is it just a Harrenhal thing? Is it just a Targaryen thing? Who's pulling the strings?
Yeah, I mean, we had a conversation about this a little bit, but Damon also had a vision of him sleeping with his mother when he was in there. And I'm really curious to know if that was Alice's doing or just the ghosts of Harrenhal's doing, because I could see it going both ways. I could see I could see Alice trying to just seduce Damon and get him to I
I mean, see our season 1 coverage. Matt Smith, he's hot.
yeah,
But
I mean,
I mean, it could sometimes it's as simple as that. But the similarities in the experience that Damon went through at Harrenhal and what Aemond is now sort of being uh like lightly manipulated to experience in a very similar way.
mhm.
For it coming around a second time here, it seems more of note. And I mean, that was my like thinking, is like, okay, is Alice trying to enact some profound ritual involving Harrenhal and a beautiful blonde Targaryen boy that she has some maybe some sexy interactions with and gets to chop some wood, uh and like maybe that was interrupted when Daemon left Harrenhal in the time that he did, and she's trying to like resume the same ritual. But I feel like I'm probably reaching with that, aren't I?
I maybe, who knows the direction they're going for there. I do also just want to make note of this, and this was something I was just actually thinking about a little bit earlier. And it's sort of just going off of a theory that you've been holding on to for a while, is that maybe Aemond is actually asexual, but the only person that can turn him on, and literally the only person that can turn him on, is his mother. And
I don't know. Maybe because like the way that it's presented to us in the show is that he's actually having sexy time with Alice when he's having the vision of having sexy time with Alicent.
when he realized that it's Alice, he immediately stops and says, "Get off. I'm done."
Exactly. But then it's just like, okay, well, is this like part of their like sexual arrangement? Like, is this the reason that they work? Because she's able to cast disguise self uh with some to a rather convincing degree.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I said earlier that Ormond might be more messed up than Aemond. I'm rescinding what I said there. Like Aemond is actually more messed up. I don't
I think that Ormond seems to be better adjusted. I'll give him that. But also, we got to remember that Aemond is still baby boy. He is quite young in
Yeah,
this
I
in
think
the
he's like 21. He's
yeah,
supposed to be 21.
yeah, in the
But
grand scheme of things, he's a baby.
that he is. Do we want to dive into chapter 2?
Let's do it.
Alrighty. Chapter 2, The Dance of the Dragons and King's Landing Schemes. Daemon tracks down Rhaena in the mountains as she desperately tries to master Sheepstealer to defeat Vhagar and earn Rhaenyra's forgiveness. But Rhaenyra and Adam arrive on Syrax and Sea Smoke and spark a violent four-dragon brawl that brutally mauls Sheepstealer until he limps away into the wild. Rhaenyra takes a captured Rhaena back to King's Landing in heavy silence, where Daemon defends his deception as acting of a fatherly protector. In Harrenhal, Alicent uses a deadly nightshade to poison Aemon's wine during a tense dinner, leaving her son collapsed at Alice's feet as Alicent flees into the night. I really think that the peak of this episode is Daemon and like this whole experience of the Dance of the Dragons. Like it is the best part of the episode. I think it had the most emotional weight. It had some of the best dialogue. I think it had some of the best fighting. Do you not think it had some great dialogue?
The emotional element, like the character stakes, and the conflict there, I was invested in and definitely felt. I thought this was a pretty great moment from Matt Smith, other than some funny accent sort of flubs. But like we were saying, like this is a pretty vulnerable moment. You'll notice the Damon defense is still on. uh, this is sort of a vulnerable moment where he truly does seem at a loss. And this is where I'm noticing how Matt Smith, like, it's interesting casting to have him as Damon, just because he can pull off that like sinister sensibility, but there's a reason that this guy was Doctor Who. You know, like he's got a lot of like round features and just sort of an inviting quality to his presence and his look, to where like he still can just pull off this like sympathetic element, and just like he's just so good at putting out of your mind the thousands of people he has murdered in cold blood. uh so yeah, that stuff with like especially their encounter when it's just the two of them, and then Rhaenyra shows up, and that takes things to a whole new level. But the CGI clobberfest that follows is not my favorite thing that we've had in the season or the show so far. Maybe we disagree on that.
I genuinely enjoyed it. I do agree that I mean, I will say that the colors may not have been as bright as we've seen it. Uh Caraxes was almost looking gray at the end of the episode for some reason. Like I don't know why that's the case, but I still think it was awesome. I really like that. I mean, I've been saying at this for the longest time that Sheepstealer doesn't have the advantage that all the other dragons that grew up in King's Landing have, because all those dragons have been trained to be war dragons. They know how to fight. They know how to do
Well,
that.
yeah, but we have to recognize that this was a 3v1 fight here,
Well,
and
that,
Sheepstealer, you know, came with some tricks.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm agreeing with you. Sheepstealer did actually very well, in my opinion, against three other dragons. And Caraxes argue like I've been I don't want to say skeptical, but that's the only word that really comes to mind. I've been wondering how Caraxes is going to fare in a dragon fight because he's just so skinny. He's a noodle boy. He's not
Yeah, he's
but
pool noodle, and he's unusual, you know, like it feels like it's a vulnerability, but that he knows how to use it to his advantage. And it
yeah.
feels like in certain lineups, like I feel like Caraxes, I mean Damon makes a suggestion because Rhaena or Rhea is like Rhaena. Rhaena, yes.
Yeah, Rhaena.
No?
Yeah, it's Rhaena.
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 Sheepstealer's writer is like,
Yes.
the way that I get back into Rhaenyra's good graces is I've gotta kill Vhagar. And Damon's like, no fucking way that's happening. But Sheepstealer and Caraxes working together, maybe. Like I feel like um Caraxes lung dragon noodliness would really serve him in a fight against Vhagar. But I also just love, like, my favorite part. I'm glad that they did this dragon fight, and there are some things about it that I feel like they like pushed this element of the show to a natural limit. So we've kind of like established a fence in my mind. I think that this might have been like testing grounds for some future conflicts to come. But my favorite thing about the fact of this just having happened is that it gives us an opportunity to sort of talk dragon power levels for a minute.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it's not only dragon power levels, but different strategies and attacks and just what they sort of do when fighting each other.
But I mean,
Because
we need to say though that like just underline that you were underestimating Sheepstealer, and this episode revealed him to be like more of a player than we'd given in credit.
I will concede that, but I also do think that this has solidified a fact that I have been saying since season 1, and that is Cyrax has no place on the battlefield. I'm not saying Rhaenyra has no place
Banana
on the battlefield.
Dragon.
The
Back at
banana
it again.
Cyrax is just not. She don't got that dog in her. Like she.
Well, and then there's that quick scene where Rhaenyra's like you can see them in the background. It's like where they like mount and dismount their dragons, and she's
Yeah.
walking away from Rhaena, and she says, "I don't want to like find her a room. I don't want to see her again." And for the second, I was like, "Is she talking about Cyrax?" Because of her performance in the conflict today.
It was embarrassing. There are no participation trophies.
No lamb leg for Cyrax tonight. She is not worthy.
No, like Cyrax literally just came in Jakari's Sheepstealer in the face, and then like tried like pulling who knows what, and it really just got her ass handed to her by Sheepstealer.
Okay, so let's get a ranking though in this conflict, because we had Sheepstealer, Caraxes, Sea Smoke, and Cyrax.
Yeah.
So I mean, Caraxes has to be on top of that ranking, right? He's the most dangerous element.
He's the most dangerous element. I mean, just seeing how much reach he has, like that was crazy to me. Just I didn't realize how much of a like help that was for.
Yeah,
Caraxes.
no, he's a serpent, you know? And I think it's also telling how they originally let Sea Smoke and Cyrax go at Sheepstealer, and then when Sheepstealer's like actually putting up a fight, that's when Caraxes like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, I'll get in here and make sure this goes our way."
Which is funny because Sea Smoke does have battle experience. He doesn't have any battle experience against other dragons, but we forget that Rhaenyra used Sea Smoke with the Triarchy back in the day.
The crab eater, remember him? Feeder.
The crab feeder back in episode 2.
Yeah, oh, remember how we thought he was going to be a big deal? You know, it's the crab feeder. I'm going to say the crab feeder crab walked so that Ormund Hightower could gently sniff perfume on the battlefield.
Could you imagine if those two ended up in a room with each other?
Oh my. That'd be such a conflict of interest. It's also like just the visual of that. It'd be like Beckett and Davy Jones, you know? And for that image, I don't know, maybe it'd be kind of fun, but I don't think this show is ready to get that silly just yet.
No. I mean, I keep wanting to get into chapter 3, but there's so much still that we need.
No, we're not even done with. Okay, so Caraxes, most dangerous dragon in this conflict.
Yes.
Okay, so
Sheepstealer
next, and then not Moondancer, Sea Smoke, and then Cyrax.
Yeah, Cyrax. At this point, Cyrax might be the least dangerous dragon, in my opinion.
Less dangerous than Tessarion. Less dangerous than Tessarion. Moondancer.
Again, I don't know if I am just riding this anti-Rhaenyra kick that's been going on, but it just seems like Cyrax is just, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with not being meant for war, but like, if we go back to episode 1, we were talking about how we were like, oh, let me ride out on Cyrax. And I am now even more convinced that Rhaenyra would have died if she would have flown out in the gullet, because Cyrax is not showing me that.
Could have saved us a lot of trouble. What? Okay, but this then begs the question: if the turntables turned such that, imagine if it was Cyrax, Sea Smoke, and Sheepstealer versus Caraxes. Do you think they could have taken down Caraxes?
No, I think Caraxes could have escaped. Like, because
Okay?
that's
Well, Sheepstealer's big, man.
Sheepstealer's big, but
Well,
Caraxes seems to be very agile. Like we've talked about it when he flies, it's almost like he's slithering through the air. And I don't think that he's clearly built for speed. He has a lot of power. I think that Daemon would be smart enough to know, like, okay, no, this is an unwinnable fight. We need to get out of here because yes, if Daemon's surrounded and they can't, and their
yeah,
backs are to
if
the
they're in
wall,
like a Hunger Games arena where
yeah,
they
then
have to fight, like there can only be one, then he's finished. But no, I hear your point that realistically he would successfully flee.
yeah, I don't see them being able to catch up because both Cyrax, Sheepstealer, and Sea Smoke are all chunky dragons. They're all like pretty well muscular, while Caraxes is the lean dragon. And I could just see Caraxes pulling some bullshit and just slithering his way out of that situation.
I'm curious to see how dangerous Zombo uh Sunfire is gonna be. But
I I
that's
don't think I don't think he's gonna be winning any dragon fights.
is he the
I
one that's actually bringing up the rear?
He might actually be. I mean, he's
Now, a dragon's a dragon.
a dragon is a dragon, but like, come on, he looks like his face went through a like a cheese grater over here. Let's be real.
Maybe I'll have more comments on that when we get to it.
Um, but going back, I really actually appreciate Damon opening up and being vulnerable with Rhaena, talking about how because Caraxes was not hatched to Damon. Damon inherited
No,
that,
absolutely not.
and
Way too big.
way too big. And I also think that it's important to sort of understand that Damon is somewhat of a tragic figure. Like he's always
Damon
in a
Defense
way.
is on. Damon Defense is on, everyone.
Yes, yes. He's always been like his father was, I believe his father was the writer of Caraxes. I'm gonna look it up. It's either Caraxes or he was the writer of Balerion. Uh and
History of Bloodworm Riders is showing up in Bryce's search history now.
that wouldn't even be that weird over
Yeah, you're
here.
gonna say that's bringing your algorithm back to center.
Exactly. Dude, too much weird shite going on over here.
Bryce got
I'm
so
not
weird he had to move to California.
keeping it weird, y'all. Keeping it weird.
I admire that. It's like a level up. He's like evolving like a Pokemon.
I'll save it. Like we're good. We're good. I but I
So
really did appreciate this moment where he's talking to Rhaena and just really consoling her and showing that he has fatherly regrets of like almost abandoning her.
yeah, and I sort of feel like the storyline with Corlys sort of primed us in a way for this, like the way that he's come to accept his offspring, acknowledge that and his past wrongdoings, and we're seeing inklings of that from Daemon, but I also feel like that's born of um him being in this like vice grip of his loyalty to his blood and his wife,
Yeah.
who is also his blood, but whatever. um it's Game of Thrones.
And Game
um
of Thrones.
um like I feel like that's what is causing the self-reflection. I don't feel like this signifies a change in Daemon, really.
Well, no, because I think that this is coming out of the lessons he learned in season 2. Like I mean, obviously the message of season 2 was that Damon learned that he wasn't the main character. Like Rhaenyra is the main character. He needs to support Rhaenyra no matter what. But this is almost like a test for him. To be like, okay, are you willing to continue supporting Rhaenyra when it might cost you your daughters
Right.
that you have
Right.
here?
In a way, yeah. Yeah, like there is I guess this is in a way him if he was truly like fully committed to Rhaenyra. And in a way, it sort of feels like Daemons of past ages might have actually given up his daughter with less hesitation. So maybe this is supposed to represent a change in Daemon, that he's so conflicted here, that he's loyal to his family, um, as much as to like his determination to be a great man in the annals of history.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah,
I still
yeah.
would not leave him in a room with a child, you know,
Nope.
like I
No.
don't think that he should be allowed to hold public office or maybe
No.
even vote.
I definitely don't think he should be in charge of anything that is remotely like
Listen,
some it should not he should have not he shouldn't have the nukes. He should not have the nukes.
no, not even like one of the turnkeys, like not
Yeah.
even one of the five. Don't trust it. If I was in charge of Westeros, if I sat the Iron Throne right now, there would there would be multiple professionals that Damon would need to meet, would be required to meet with weekly.
Yeah, like it goes back to season 1 where David is talking to Viserys and David's like, "All I ever wanted was to be at your side and you never asked me to be your hand." And I'm like, that is low-key the best thing that Viserys has ever done, actually. Like
Yeah. Um yeah, no, in celebration, can we like turn Damon Defense off for just a minute so we can just like log a little bit? Yeah, that guy sucks.
a lot of problems.
Yeah,
Not right in the head.
problematic, complicated to say the least. Sheesh.
Walking red flag.
There. So in this chapter, the scene with Mysaria and the Madame
Mhm.
is also here, which is not like a huge scene, but I just want to like acknowledge that I kind of feel like the Madame goofed up here. I think Mysaria was well-meaning, and I also think that her proximity to the queen is a big deal.
No, I agree from a situational standpoint, she fucked up and dropped the bag. But what I really think, and again, I don't know, but how I interpret this scene is this is a warning to Mysaria. Something's going to happen. Mysaria is going to feel like she has too much power. And I think that she does already. I mean, we know she has too much power. There were several instances throughout this episode where she was demonstrating that she's too comfortable with the queen. Like when she reached out and grabbed Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra literally looked at her like, "What the fuck did you just do?" I
Oh yeah, and
gen-
I mean, there at the end of the episode, they were getting, you know, even past comfortable with each other.
well, that's what I'm getting at. Is like I genuinely think in this next episode, Mysaria is going to do something that's, and maybe it's even like in line with what she's doing because Mysaria is like talking about holding court on her own.
Without, yeah, she's like wanted to do like Alicent did, um, while Viserys was, you know, falling apart all those years. Um, I also, as we talk it through here, I'm thinking maybe part of the sort of between the lines reading on this scene with the Madame. I keep saying that because I can't remember the character's name, and I don't think they say it in the
I
episode.
don't think they say it.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Maybe she's refusing this like offer of charity from Mysaria, because basically Mysaria comes in and she's like, "Hey, so obviously Rhaenyra is not hearing cases from the common people, and I recognize that that is going to really hurt her reputation if we don't address this on some level. So I am extending an offer for you to come and talk to me about what I need to talk to the queen about. It's this is politics. This is how shit works. Uh, this is real. But the madame is like, I'm good, and part of it is like maybe because she's more street level. Like she has a sense of like the temperature of the people. Maybe that's her sort of asserting like, hey, like people are not feeling this Rhaenyra chick. Like there's a revolution that's going to happen in like a couple days. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not looking to get in bed with your current regime in any way.
That it could be definitely a temperature feel for what the people are going through. I'm really curious to see what direction they end up taking it. I could see it being a combination of both though too. That the people are just not necessarily happy and that Mysaria is just getting a little bit too comfortable with her position because something we have to also remind ourselves that they've been hinting at this entire season is just reminding us this lady, yeah, she eventually owned the establishment, but this is a prostitute. Like, this is as if the chief of staff of our government was a prostitute. I
A
can't imagine.
meteoric rise. What can this woman not do?
She's got it all. She can do it all. There's nothing she can't.
She fucked the queen. Oh, but I keep getting ahead of us on that.
And the king regent.
I mean to wrap up my thoughts on this chapter though, um uh I think that Alicent severely underestimated Alice, and her
Wow.
witchiness and her ability to conjure remedies for various poisons. She goofed up.
Do you think Alicent goes back?
Ooh, yeah, because I think that's where the drama is for her character for this season finale.
Yeah, because they made it like she started to leave, and then she was, like, hesitating, and then the scene ended
Yeah, yeah.
with her.
No,
So, to me, that
I
was
think there's more to come there.
yeah. I did just love it how Alice literally like, Aemond is just coming in, he's, like, stumbling and then crashes, and she's just laying there on the ground, and she's idiot, and then immediately, like, starts making stuff, like
That's her energy. She's fun that way.
she is definitely
She
related to
rolls
Simon.
with yeah. uh, Also, we get the lore drop that Alicent would give Aemond spiced wine to put him to sleep as a child. So maybe that explains some of the the abnormalities later in life.
Hey, who among us did not try spiced wine to go to bed at night?
There was no disclosure of like quantities or regularity of no. Well, didn't she say that he needed it every night? He couldn't sleep without
Probably.
it or
He's an
something like that.
alcoholic, apparently.
Just the show didn't make a big deal of it, but you think about that, explains a thing or two.
What do we think the fallout between Rhaenyra and Daemon's going to be in this final episode? Because I don't think we're done with.
Uh, I mean that's the start of the next chapter, right?
Well, it's sort of not really. Rhaenyra, we included that Rhaenyra had her argument with Daemon in this chapter.
Yeah, okay, and to the point where gotcha. Okay. Um, yeah, their relationship is definitely on the rocks.
I mean, it's
But like,
dead.
yeah, no, things are not so cash money between the two of them. Clearly, I mean that bit where that she asked the servant to stay for their conversation that says it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the true repercussions are in this. I like that the show is creating conflict in this, and like that there's just about to be this big battle, presumably, where like the most characters are going to be facing off. I think it's interesting to create such conflict in Daemon's loyalties going into that.
Here's the thing, like, I could see Rhaenyra going in and saying, "You're not allowed to come back to King's Landing until Vhagar is dead," or something along those lines, and,
Give
like,
him
set
some epic quest. I mean that'd be kind of fun too. You know, that simplifies things. And
it would be fun because, uh, I saw a meme and I need to find it, but, somebody got a screenshot of Rhaenyra when she was, like, talking to, Mysaria, and it's the shot where just her hips are right in Rhaenyra's face, and it was, like, Rhaenyra turning to ChatGPT, pussy,
well,
like ChatGPT pussy,
I know
and,
what you're trying to say there. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of syllables over there, but I really think that she has a grasp on Rhaenyra. Mysaria does that nobody else really does. But I also think that that's going to come and bite her in the ass. That grasp. I think that she thinks that she has more control than she actually does.
Yeah, and I think that Miss Arya is not as wise to Rhaenyra's state of mind as she thinks she is. I think she's overestimating her girl there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, it's gonna make for great content. It's gonna make for great content.
oh, we can only hope. There was also in this chapter that Alan received his father's finger
That,
in a
I did
box.
have. I did have that in chapter 3. That
Okay.
sorry.
Oh man, you're always moving these around, and
I know,
is
I
a
know.
jigsaw on it to fit your
My
descriptors. Okay,
narrative. Well, if it's all right, maybe that's our indicator that we need to jump
carry
into.
on, sir.
Chapter 3, Betrayals and Prophetic Dreams. Helena foresees visions of giving birth, burning commoners on Dreamfire, and a peaceful life in a distant cottage as winter creeps on. Alan is given a gift which contains Corlys's finger, acting as a warning to him and his brother. Rhaenyra, feeling frustrated that she can't trust Daemon, turns to Mysaria for comfort, and Mysaria continues to say sweet things in her ear as she seduces Rhaenyra. When men surround the camp of Aegon, Aegon's severely wounded dragon Sunfire emerges from the tree line and burns the ambushers to ashes. The episode closes out as Ormond successfully turns the bitter dragon rider Ulf to Team Green, promising the seat of Driftmark as Ulf promises to burn everyone. A lot there. A lot there.
What an
I
episode.
what and uh I really am curious to see what Alan's going to do after receiving Corlys's
well,
ring.
well, Ormond basically outlined the whole play in his conversation with Corlys, as he wants the the sea folk to the to withdraw from King's Landing.
He wants the people of the sea to
Yeah. No, he's a hero. He's Odysseus. Don't you see?
I the parallels are uncanny.
Like think about it. Ormond, Odie. Is it that much of a stretch?
Odysseus. Um no, I see I hear I I don't think Alan's gonna do that though.
No. Well, Alan is one of the good ones. You know, like he does the right thing at
Yeah,
every turn.
he's already demonstrated that he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's the one who introduces cats
He's
to
on the
King.
verge of like a serious relationship / marriage to Bela,
Yeah,
which is one of the uh yeah, you just don't want to mess that up, you know.
yeah.
if
She
you're
is
if you're on
living
the precipice of that one, like you're you're taking your vitamins.
She is the eldest daughter of Daemon Targaryen and Lena Targaryen. I mean, Lena Velaryon, the two last houses of old Valyria.
Now, I'll just remind you, Bryce, Daemon defense is still off. Like we're trying to get some time.
I
No,
mean,
no, leave it off for a bit. Like we got to get those numbers up
yeah, we do
because
need to get those.
someday they're going to run like an AI analysis on this podcast, and it'll report back that Daemon defense was on for like 78% of the time.
Here's the thing: Aegon defense has been on this entire season.
Yeah, no, surely, but Three Amigos, come on.
we can't
We're
beat
having
it.
fun with it. It's just not affecting. And like they've just been done such a good job of like all of the other characters in their storylines have been such overt shits that like you can root for them in those scenarios because at least they're the shits you know. But that's not what we're talking about right now.
Something I wanted to run past you and get your thoughts on, and what do you think the likelihood of Rhaenyra killing Helaena this next episode is? Because I could see Helena's having like an odd amount of prophetic visions, and I think that she's going to have a vision of Rhaenyra's doom or Rhaenyra's downfall, and she's going to tell Rhaenyra that, and we're really going to see the madness take hold.
Like that'll
And
just she won't be able to reconcile because that's her thing is she's desperate. We see it in this episode. She's desperate for some kind of divine approval of what she's doing, just because like the
well, she
burden,
thinks she has it.
like the weight of what she's done is so heavy on her at this point, like the burden of guilt, that I think like the only escape hatch she can imagine is if the gods show up and they're like, well, no, the reason this happened is because it needs to happen because you're the most special person. And so I imagine if she were to get some kind of like definitive no from the gods, that could be the thing that breaks her. So I think you might be onto something with that.
If here's the thing, if Rhaenyra does kill Helena, I might, I don't know. Like I don't know how I'd feel.
That would be fucking crazy, dude. If
Yeah,
that's the next episode of the show, I am gonna have to like just applaud the sheer boldness of that because I don't think that's where we're headed.
Something's they're making a move because Helena's getting more and more screen time. It's getting more and more interpersonal with her visions.
I mean, Alicent is removed, so she's without her protector.
Yeah, and
this is making some degree of sense.
And we're going to like we were told by the showrunners that we were going to be seeing Rhaenyra the Cruel. And while she has not been cool, I don't think we've seen Rhaenyra the Cruel yet.
Not yet.
I genuinely
but like it does it not feel near.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying. Like how also how sweet would it be? Just that's the kickoff by killing the most innocent character in the show that has a name.
Mm-hmm. I also think that in a way that's like very popular with discussions of today and the conversations that are being had at large about our society. The show's doing a really good job of sort of representing how it's a lack of empathy of like the elites of this world that is causing their like misery and it like their inevitable downfall here, where Rhaenyra's biggest slip up and what's gonna cause the real trouble, hopefully in this next episode, is that she didn't take care of her people. Like she does not regard Ulf as a human being.
No,
they speak it aloud in this episode. There are multiple lines where Bela says, she doesn't see us as human beings. She sees us. I think I even wrote it down. She's like, she doesn't see us as anything. Um, she thinks of us only as tools to be utilized. And then almost the exact same line is said here at the end by Ormond to Ulf.
Yeah.
But then it's like this also ties into how in the beginning of this episode, how Rhaenyra is just like totally unable to like actually talk to Helaena as a human being. This is like her blood sister, and she
Yeah.
just like has no empathy for this person. It's just, I compel you as your queen. You have to tell me what you know. And then like I feel like the final piece to this as represented in this episode is in the uh dinner scene with, it's the AAA dinner scene where you've got Alice, Aemond, and Alicent. It's awkward, like meet the parents. Like I actually kind of enjoyed the undercurrent of that interaction. But uh they're talking about the conflict, and then Aemond dismisses Rhaenyra's dragon advantage because of the commonness of her dragon riders.
Yes.
And so there's like just like pervasive theme of like the Targaryens and the royalty in this universe sort of perceiving themselves as above everybody else, and like welcoming a disconnect that is ultimately, in Rhaenyra's case, causing enormous problems. Like it's prohibiting her from being like actually a good ruler. Like she's willfully not even talking with her subjects anymore.
Oh, for
You hear what I'm
sure.
saying?
No, I completely agree. Rhaenyra is slowly just, she genuinely thinks that it is just a title. And I don't think she ever anticipated the amount of responsibility that came. And she did some really great things in the beginning. But the problem is, and I don't know what, like, because here's the thing, I like to fancy myself as a very anti-war sort of person. I very like, I am very,
Let's make that official. Let's make
yeah,
Big Liz Pod is anti-war.
yeah, anti-war,
Anti-war
anti,
in real life.
yeah, but
Occasionally pro-war in television.
I'm just gonna say, if they would have nuked Ormond on the field, if they would have, we would not be having these issues.
Oh god.
If we would have committed a couple war crimes and just used those 3
Yeah, I mean,
dragons,
we've been committing war crimes. We've been committing them. So,
yeah,
like,
but
if
a
we'd have just
couple
gotten a
more.
few out of the way early, we'd be
Yeah,
way ahead. But
it's it's like spending $100 on your credit card when you've already got $20,000 on that credit card. What's $100 more on?
right. Like nobody's even gonna notice.
It's, but that's, I mean, she, the theme of this season has really been that Rhaenyra is half-assing being a tyrant. She's half-assing being a dictator. She either needs to fully democratize it, which would show the people, hey, we actually don't have the money. It's not like we're hiding it out over here. Or B, it's just martial law and
Whatever she says goes, and like they're gonna be chopping off a lot of heads for a while, and like that would
yeah,
just be what it is. But that's a way to do it, and she's not picking a lane.
yeah, she's trying to ride the middle. And because I think
Well,
we've
I think that she's just like afraid to go dark, like you say, and I think that part of that is like part of her search for a divine uh approval is her feeling like that would justify her making some of these sketchier moves that she hasn't, like that she knows needs to happen.
yeah. I'm really curious because I think we're going to, one way or another, it may not be her killing Helena, which I do think that would be an excellent, excellent way to show Rhaenyra the Cruel. But I do think one way or another we're going to be getting Rhaenyra the Cruel in this next episode. And
Yeah. Let's get cruel with it.
Let's get cruel with it.
Done with the out with the cool, in with the cruel.
But I think we've edged the audience long enough. I think we should talk about what's actually my favorite scene of the episode, and that's Aegon Dracarysing Lord Mooten's troops
The
with
Moots, dude. The Moots.
the Moots.
The
Uh,
Mootons. Is it
the
that?
Moot.
Okay. Yeah. That's such a fun word. I'm just gonna try and say that as much as possible in what remains of our
We've been
recording.
mooting all around town today.
I'm not mooted out yet.
I really, really like how they did this entire scene, with the exception of like, okay, and I just really can't tell what they were doing with the actor of Aegon. When the army first approaches, he's like acting a little bit insane, where he's like, no, 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 no. And he's like pacing a little bit. And Thailand is over there like, do you want to flee, my lord? Like, my grace. And then he does his epic speech, which honestly chills. Like when he went out there and was like, I am Aegon Targaryen.
Glenn
First
Carney ate this episode.
Oh, he absolutely ate. And then when Sunfire appeared, and I love how all their
Well,
scars.
I feel like we just got to refer to them as Zombo Sunfire from now on. I feel like it's a new character. Like I feel like we're gonna have to do a separate dragon grade.
Well, I was gonna say his scars match Aegon's scars.
Yeah, well, it was the same incident, you may recall.
It was.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the same like face scars are on each other. It's not like Aegon was writing his face.
Well, we can rewind the tape. We do have that option. And but no, dope scene. But I have thoughts on the character stuff with like how you're talking about how he's kind of back and forth, and this is a like sort of out of nowhere thing. We haven't talked that much tonight about Aegon's story this episode, where he basically realizes that the Mootons are booting and scooting this way, and they have pledged to Rhaenyra, and if they discover him, they'll surely like take him captive or kill him on the spot. But he's just like, you know what? I'm done. That's it. He can't take another step. And he's just gonna accept this as it's going down. King. Yeah, well, and his reasoning in it is he wants it like acknowledged, like he wants it recorded that what happened to him. And there's some, there's an argument to that. Like they're on their current trajectory, the chances of them like not dying is not like awesomely high. But I think that narratively this really works for me as a payoff for the character of Aegon, because I mean, Larys has been like needling him and being very direct with some thoughts he has about the type of man that Aegon is. So this is like he's been like going through all of these trials as a like definitely roughing it to the greatest degree that this character ever has had to in his life. So this has been like a cocoon series for Aegon in every sense. Yes. And so as we come up to this ultimate moment right before he gets his dragon back, he's like a player back on the board of the Game of Thrones. This is where he's doubting what he has to do to earn that as a character. It's truly like Aegon coming back as Gandalf the White in Two Towers. Like because his thing is he has to legitimately take a stand for something. And that is this moment of inspiration where he's going to like set aside his cowardice and actually like take a stand or like do something. And like he gets caught up in the moment, and he doubts it, but then he fully commits. And I mean, the way they kind of play it is that he doesn't even realize that the Zombo Sunfire is creeping up behind him as he's like speaking. Like he thinks that he's intimidating the mutants. Um,
He's the Mootons.
he thought that he was I was trying to use the word boo as like scare, but that he can't be booting the mutants. That doesn't work.
He'd be boop boop boomins.
Hey, skaboot booting the dude and mutants.
There we go.
And
That's
right, that was the take. And but then he turns like, so he thinks that he's truly like projecting it. But then he's got his dragon back, and as I say, he's a player once again.
no.
So like this is his, like, he's a butterfly. I mean, he's literally got like a winged creature coming to, you know.
I'm really curious to see what Sunfire's capabilities are going to be after this.
Well, the thing is, anytime it gets in a dragon fight, it's gonna have to flip this big ass coin to decide whether or not it wants to kill a dragon. So that's gonna be like, I think, a really fun element, like, that they'll add to the show.
Yeah,
That's what I'm anticipating.
Well, I almost wonder if he's just going to be going around just doing what Vagar's doing, but just like torching people, or if he's not going to charge King's Landing. Like, I really don't see him doing that. I mean, he could. There's that potential. That would be very interesting. Could you imagine if Aegon?
Okay. So how realistic is it that Zombo Sunfire factors into the fight at Tumbleton?
I don't think that's a factor at all, because as far as they're aware, they don't have any idea that that's happening.
Yeah, they have no awareness of that. You're right. Okay. So, you know, it would make a lot more sense just like if we get outside and logically think about the show. Maybe I actually could see this being the last we see of Aegon in this season. And that actually could be kind of satisfying to me.
I would love to see. I would actually prefer to see it close out on him.
Just like another little bit with him. But I mean, I like where it's going, and I'm excited to see it eventually. I'm just not saying that I have to have it next week, because I'm pretty satisfied with what they've done with this character. And it seems like neither of us feel any kind of way about them just bringing back Sunfire.
I mean,
I'm cool with it. I think it's fun. I'm into it.
We've been talking about it for a while, that it's like, hey, we know due to spoilers from Game of Thrones that Sunfire's not dead because he still has a job he has to do.
Right. And there's a difference between, like, we've seen that the show has broken somewhat from the continuity of the book that they're directly adapting, but they do seem very committed to preserving the continuity of Game of Thrones. Like, they want House of the Dragon to work in continuity with Game of Thrones. So that's something that we've like, okay, look, Sunfire's gonna come back somehow. And if they were gonna do it, like they literally did the zombie dragon thing in Game of Thrones already, and it was dope as hell then, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's very different, and I'd be very curious because I do really like that it does pair with, because, like, talking about divine rights, this was almost like a divine right sort of situation.
Holy shit. Yeah, because it's like, if you're talking about Rhaenyra is so desperate and just like praying day and night, and like any way that she can potentially get some kind of divine approval. I mean, Aegon seems to have unlocked the secret code to that one.
Absolutely. Like, the fact
So
that,
like when she gets news of that could break her on a new level.
well, and like Larys is going around and going to be telling the story of Aegon, and I'm sure they're gonna find Larys, and they're gonna just like, hey, we need to just tell all of Westeros what happened. How many people are going to like switch sides just because? I mean, frankly, that's some momentum shit right there. Like that's you're saying what now? His dragon came back to life because the gods favor his like divine purpose that
He
much?
faux God that hard?
Yeah. I I I don't know. Like I genuinely think, which it's so interesting to me because up until I mean at the end of I don't know. It is interesting because at the end of episode 7 of House of the Dragon last season, that's when the tide really shifted for Team Black. And it really feels like that this is the point that the momentum is shifting back in Team Green's favor.
I mean, as we said already, like what even is Team Green, Team Black? But
Yeah.
if you're gonna line up the characters that you would align respectively, then yeah, no, I agree.
With the exception of Aemond. Aemond is not doing good over
Yeah,
for his
I mean, he's
position.
stumbling, but he's well enough to be fucking, so it can't be that bad. Can't be that serious.
He's poisoned.
Well, he's gonna clear that right on him. Alice has got him.
I'm really curious to know what the conversations were like at the beginning. Like, I want to know if Ulf was approached or if Ormond was approached by Ulf.
I mean, Ulf is not the doer in this
I don't
dynamic.
know.
Well, maybe he set up some flares. Then again, yeah,
because he's been quite unhappy since the beginning of this season. He has actively expressed his displeasure in
no
his
pies,
situation.
dude, none.
No pies, no drinks with the boys. He got a fucking horse.
What's he need a horse for? He's got a fucking dragon.
I still stand that was easily the dumbest thing that Rhaenyra could have done. Like, you could have made them lords. Like, you could have.
It's not that hard. Yeah, just like and now she's so far gone that she probably would make those type of concessions, but she just didn't have the foresight. But on this reveal, I do think that this legitimately does shake up the balance of power at Tumbleton pretty
Oh,
significantly,
absolutely.
because it's like how I've been saying how I feel like you underestimated Sheepstealer's viability. I think Silverwing is quite dangerous,
Oh, she's definitely
and
dangerous.
we
It's
just
just
haven't seen that.
and here's the thing too is like what happens if Silverwing flips and Vermithor doesn't? I don't think Vermithor attacks Silverwing because they're mates.
And that's something that has been represented in the background of this season already. So that feels canon. So like that would be a really interesting wrinkle.
Yeah. I genuinely am just wondering like what that looks like. How does that play out? How does that move forward? And but I also am convinced Ormond clearly has no respect for the Targaryens, but he also clearly has even less respect for this like bastard born dragon rider. There's no way in hell he gives them
The
uh
Lord of the Tides, the Ulf
yeah,
Lord of the Tides. It's also just such like I love Ulf. Okay, Ulf is one of my favorite characters in the show, low key.
yeah,
Ulf as Lord of the Tides is a ridiculous notion. That's like
yeah,
making like Pippin from Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Tides.
yeah.
Like,
That's like making him Lord of Osteria.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, okay. So keep it with the. That's a better metaphor. But it's just like it's kind of even just so silly to me that Ulf would want that, because what was he had a specific castle in
I
mind.
want honeycomb or whatever the fuck it is.
He wants
Whatever the
the honey
cast.
pot, uh,
Yeah.
the honey pot spot, and Ormond does just this like delicious like villain turn where he's like, "Think bigger, mate."
Well, you can also
Lord
tell
of the
that
Tides, that could be you. That's not how he sounds, but that's the
they're
spirit.
they're both doing a fantastic job in this scene, but something I just really have to like give James Norton props for is you can see that he's holding in his disgust. Like you can see it's not like blatant, but you can see that there's creases. And I genuinely think that Ulf is just too greedy or just too stupid not to see those
Correct.
creases. And like for a fact that he was huffing his perfumes profusely right at because you can't tell me Ulf smells good. Like I
No
bet you Ulf
way. No way. I'm sorry, Ulfie boy, but no.
he has not bathed in at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks.
Yeah, like there's a like imagine this era pub culture, like King's Landing, House of the Dragon era pub culture it's just got to be like rank those people at all times. They had that whole bit about how there was like a sewer like canal through the middle of a set in
Yeah.
one of the episodes recently. I mean, when you really think about it, like Ormond's thing, it's a little extreme, but I understand the impulse
Well,
uh
also
to try and
people
control that in this world.
I grew up around horses. Horses and you can groom horses. They don't smell good.
No, no, they don't.
And I can't imagine dragons smell much better than horses.
No,
And
dragons smell like a giant. Like, have you ever smelled a pet iguana? It's just that
no,
times 100, I imagine.
yeah, I'm sure that Ulf and Hugh smell like that all the time because they're
Yeah,
always with
they
the
just smell like a snake dude. Like, shout out to my snake dudes. Like, they're very chill people, and I have friends who are snake dudes, and I
you
myself
used to be.
was a snake dude for a long time. I only ever had one snake, so I don't know if that makes me like a full-on snake dude, but all the
Austin, you
same.
had that snake for like 20 years. I think.
I had a snake for it was closer to 15 than 20 years, but all the same.
Still.
All the same. I digress. Uh bloodworm ownership history.
Austin Snyder.
I'm actually losing my train of thought. We were talking about Ulf and Ormond and
Yeah,
smells crazy in there.
yeah, I don't trust Ormond at all in this, and I do think that this deal is going to
Oh,
bite Ulf
right.
in the ass quite
No,
well.
Ulf is, and it's just like he's just a bit of a sucker, and it's a shame. But I do not think he's making it out of this show unscathed.
Oh no.
But to your point about Ormond, the performance, and how now that we've spent some time with the character, you can sort of pick up on those subtleties. I'm totally with you there, and I agree. And that's I think that's a sign of really good television that. Um, we understand a character is literally saying one thing and meaning another.
I might be showing my hand a little bit too soon, but James Norton might be in the running for me to be best supporting male actor for our Lizzies.
I
Like,
think he's in the conversation, no doubt,
I
no doubt.
definitely think he's in the conversation to be had. Um, but I also really think because just thinking back, there was that whole scene where Ormond was talking with Daron saying that the Targaryens are an abomination, that dragons are an abomination. And
He's kind of
I
on the right
can't
side of that one.
I mean he is. I mean they are just death incarnate, death on wings. But at the same time, I'm just sitting there like, okay, then what does he think of Ulf? Like he literally like if Ulf thinks he's
Right.
going to be moving to a better situation, like I have a bridge to sell Ulf over here.
No,
Like,
but that's to be seen. Presumably next episode, it's all going down.
but is there anything else you want to discuss before we move on to our fit picks?
Rhaenyra's kink seems to be just being told that she's the queen.
Yeah, maybe
She's
Daemon needs to pick up on that a
no,
little
he
bit.
knows this. This is established lore, but it's just being reestablished here by Mysaria.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra's freaking easy, dude. If Ulf had just gone up and told her she was the queen,
Oh my god. He
probably
would
would
have
have
been
gone
able to
to
go with
bed
his
with
boys.
Ulf.
He
He
would have
could have
been able.
gone like he could have had all like the boys could have come into the court and
Yeah,
had beers.
could you imagine that? Just Ulf throwing a ranger in the throne room.
That would be amazing. That's the good timeline. That's the ultimate of how this should have turned out.
Well, speaking of ultimate timeline, Austin, I am really curious. In an episode filled with so many great fits, what is your top fit for this episode?
I feel like this was also, yeah, I agree with you. This was a very good episode with the fits. There were many great fits thrown. Some great threads on display in this episode, and I really do feel the conversation for me was between about 5 different options, but one clearly rose above the rest, and I do think that Alicent's um, cozy blue Christmas fit, as first shown in her seduction scene of her son, which is actually a future foreshadowing of a thing that doesn't happen because of the foreshadowing. But that fit was next level. It was looked excellent on her. It's the blue, which like against the red hair, and obviously like the like milky skin is just really nice contrast, and it just looked so cozy. Had some layers. You got kind of there was like some tactile action even with it as
Yeah.
she took off the one piece, and you could hear like the clanking links. To me, it was the one for this. Are you going another direction?
No, I will add on. I was not as big of a fan when it was just without the cloak. The cloak is what brought it all together. I do agree that I like how tactical it was almost like with multiple pieces, but
Oh,
it
I
needed
want the male version of this fit.
oh, absolutely. That's what I'm getting married in. Like eventually.
I was gonna say it has to be a
That's
December wedding at that point, but
I'm a December boy. What can I say?
well,
I was meant to wear that.
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. No, I definitely thought that that was the best looking outfit there. Um,
So
I
you got a
really,
runner up though. You wanna shout out somebody else real quick?
um, I mean, it's so good. They can't step away from it, and I feel almost bad, but it's pretty much the same thing, same color scheme, same everything. Jane Eyre's like it was a lot of just some of the best that we've seen so far, but Jane Eyre's is always just
Yeah.
fantastic.
We I already mentioned Clinton Liberty. The red was ooh really popping in that scene.
The red to black cloak, that is easily one of the best cloaks I've seen in the show.
That's one I want that one too.
Mhm, mhm. That's why I'm getting divorced.
There we go. If I had a shout out, like a runner up, it'd probably be Dan Fogel and his um, blue fuzzy with the gold bling at
I
the small
the
council, like
council
the invalid because it doesn't have any orbs, but you know what I'm talking about, the black small council equivalent scene.
No, that was my winner a couple weeks back, so I
Yeah,
agree.
no, it was
It
looking really good in this episode too.
I mean, it best supporting actor might be, uh, an easy shot for us, but I think we've got some real conversations for,
Fit pick of the season.
yeah, which just to tease up a little bit, guys, we are going to be having I'm not gonna say who, but I'll give a hint. We are going to be having a well-known Game of Thrones universe Song of Ice and Fire cosplayer coming on, so they might have some thoughts on who won and who did not win for Fit Pick of the season. So
I'm
stay
sure
tuned.
they will.
I
I
hope
can
they
guarantee
do.
it, in fact.
But any last thoughts before we wrap up the episode?
What an episode.
What an episode. I almost want to make that the title of this video.
I'm excited. I'm excited to roll right into the finale, because that's tomorrow. Of us recording that's happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm legitimately looking forward to it. So excited for that. And if you're watching this in the future, then you should just roll right into our coverage of that.
You really should. But in the meantime, be sure to like, share, subscribe, share with Emma D'Arcy. I would love to talk to Emma D'Arcy. Emma D'Arcy, open invitation. You're always welcome on the podcast. Please be sure to come on. But other than that, be sure to like, share, subscribe, share it with your mom, share it with your dad. Be sure to share it with your cousin/sister that is a little bit off in the woods, doing her own thing, trying to get good graces with her aunt that is also her cousin in a weird way. But in the meantime, peace.
That's all for this week's Dragon Lore. Takes cold and hot, spread shore to shore. Enjoyed yourself? Please join the squad. Follow on social media at BigLizPod. And one quick reminder before you go, to rate, review, and share the show. Thank you for listening. It means a lot. See you next week, same time, same spot.